to do something for my son. And, of course, everything is still, so I found that was the best time for me to write, late at night. In the book, Ralph Keyes talked about some of the most popular writers. And as I was reading that book, I realized, okay, the anxiety that I'm having, the fear that I'm having, afraid of how people are going to react to this, worrying about, did I use the right word choice? All those things is what some of our best writers go through. So he talked about E.B. White, who he said he hated writing. He thought his writing wasn't any good, and he always worried over every word, and he just didn't want Charlotte's Web. He really didn't want that published, and you see what happened with that.
Yeah,
and
it's a national treasure.
Yeah. So as I'm reading that book, and I'm finding, okay, well, this really is what all writers experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the process for me was just to write. And as I'm reading other people's advice or other writers' advice on writing, and Anne Lamott, another favorite author of mine, and her advice is just to go get it out, and you know what she says about your first draft being
trash.
Yeah.
Put it mildly.
Yeah.
Putting it mildly.
But just to get it out.
Yes.
So,
vomit on the page.
Yeah.
And then
Absolutely.
go back and clean it up.
Yeah.
And allow that process to
Yes.
work itself through.
Yes.
Because some people see the vomit and they're like, I'm not cleaning that up. And so like 2 years later, that's when they're going back to their manuscript.
Yeah.
So you self-published.
Yes.
This book. Tell me some of the challenges that you faced in self-publishing it.
Well, one, just not even knowing what to do first. There's a lot of information out there, obviously, and just not understanding, okay, what all goes into self-publishing and what is really self-publishing. And so I was advised by another self-published author years ago that you want to own your ISBN number, and so that was the advice she gave me. And so the process for me, it was sometimes frustrating. It was really scary because I had no idea how the whole manuscript gets uploaded. What's the difference between Ingram Spark and Create Space? And if you go through Ingram Spark, does that mean you have to have just an ebook? Can you have the Kindle and the ebook? So there were a lot of information that I didn't know about that I had to research.
Yeah. And it can seem daunting as a self-published author to navigate that whole thing.
Right.
So to have a company, because you went through a not on demand, but you went through a publishing company that self-published it for you.
Yes.
And then just really trusting those folks who do know the industry to just kind of navigate that for you. I understand why you would do that. So what was most enriching about the process?
Oh, it was just really seeing it finally come into life. Yeah, just getting to the point where you have everything uploaded and you've gone back and you've looked at it, and just finally getting the finished product in my hands and actually holding the book.
And it's a beautiful book too. I
Thank
love
you.
the way that. What did you have some say in the design of it?
I did. Well, there was a lady who designed the cover, and she showed me different designs, and that was the one we all agreed on. Yeah.
Okay. So, what advice would you give to new authors who are looking to write a memoir? You've been there, done that now. So speak to our new authors who are looking to write a memoir. What advice do you have for them?
And I've had people who have asked me about writing and wanting to write a book. My advice would just, first of all, as an author, and I hear this a lot, and I think a lot of people focus too much on the book being a bestseller. They want to be New York Times bestseller. And what I've told people is that being a bestseller does not mean that you have a great book.
Okay, then. Immediately, some books came to mind. I mean, some books that got grammatical errors in it. I mean, books that have been optioned into films. Okay, I'm not going to say names. I'm not going to say names.
I know.
I had television series.
Yes.
Hold up, look, my writer friends out there know who I'm talking about. But anyway, go ahead.
So, because really, what makes a bestseller is that obviously people who understand the algorithm, and they know, and of course, when obviously celebrities write their books, they obviously have that window of time where they have to get all these sales. So a bestseller it just means that a certain amount of books have sold. A lot of books have sold within a short period of time, and that makes it a bestseller.
Yeah, so it's all about the marketing.
Yeah,
and of course, if you're a known author, and people are waiting, especially these authors that send out a book once a year, and so you're like waiting for the next book. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
that's how it happens.
So that's my advice: is not to focus so much on it being a bestseller, but focus on just writing a really good book. Just writing a book that people can relate to, people can resonate with, and just being honest, just being authentic, being transparent. Because readers can feel that. They can feel when you're holding back.
Yeah.
And not trying to imitate another author, not trying to sound like somebody else. Just find your voice.
Now, you had mentioned that before 2012, when you decided to get serious about it, the years in between, you're like, you weren't really, you wanted to write a book, but you really weren't motivated to write the book. So what happened in 2012, or what advice to these new authors could you give about getting over that, not having any motivation, and to just actually sitting down and doing it?
And that's something that you will have to, that will always be a challenge, just staying motivated. Because things are going to happen, life is going to keep happening. And that's what I had to realize, because throughout, and that's why I kept stopping, because things kept happening, that I thought that, okay, you know what, I had a death in the family, I can't write. Legal stuff came up with some people, and I'm like, oh, I can't write. And obviously ailments, sicknesses, everything, financial things happen, and I can't write. And I kept saying, well, when this is over with, I'm going to write. And then I overcame that, and then something else happened.
So they were excuses.
Yeah, they were excuses. They were excuses. Yeah, so the motivation, you have to surround yourself with other people who are doing the same thing.
Yes.
Because people can give advice, and we obviously have gotten advice from people who have no clue of how things work. And so they try to tell you, oh, well, you need to do this and this and this, but they have, I'm thinking, okay, well, where's your book? What's the name of your book?
Call them out.
So just staying motivated is just, you're going to have to force yourself, because if that's something that you truly, truly want to accomplish and to get done, you'll get it done. Amidst all the chaos and everything else that's going on.
Right. Yeah. So with memoirs, many times there are, the people that are attached to it who may not necessarily want to be attached to it, but they were part of your experience, so they are. Have you come across any challenges related to that aspect of it?
Yes. Okay. I have, of course, with family members,
Okay, well, we don't have to go into any detail, but for those who are writing memoirs, and that's not to make them have a second thought about, because first and foremost is your experience,
exactly,
and that person was just kind of attached to it, but they shouldn't feel derailed or deterred from writing their experience in their life.
Right.
They just have to be ready for that other stuff that comes with it.
Absolutely. And one of the other things that Ralph Keyes mentioned in his book, when he talked about writing, whether it's a novel, memoirs, especially memoirs, because you'll have people who will get upset that you mention their names or talked about some things, and it doesn't have to be anything negative. Some people get mad because you didn't. You didn't.
There's that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are the things too that you will run into, is that, oh, well, why didn't you say this about me, or why did you say that? Or
that wasn't how I remembered that happening.
Right.
And I need more credit and some royalties from your book.
Right.
Yeah, I tell you, it's all kind. I haven't personally experienced it. I have talked to a few other authors who have, and it's more than a notion. But you're handling it.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah. You're making sure that first and foremost, your story is out there, your voice is out there, and along those lines, what's next?
I get asked that a lot, and I honestly, when I finally published this book, I wanted to take on a life of its own, do whatever it's supposed to do, because I didn't have, honestly, any real expectations other than to share my story and hope that other people will be inspired by it. But if I had to want anything from it, is to maybe reach out to younger women, younger girls and boys, and to help them, show them that if they're going through anything, if they're experiencing anything, just to give people a voice to just be strong enough to share whatever it is that they're going through. Possibly a nonprofit of some sorts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking engagements.
Yeah, that's something I still have to work on.
I'm just putting that out there for you.
Thank you. But yeah, definitely, I can see that as well.
I can definitely see that too, because that the subject of your book, of your memoir, is something I think that resonates with women.
Yes.
Very, very, very highly. I wish you the best on your speaking tour. I want to hear all about it. I want to hear about your next book, and I want to see you back in the Haven.
Okay, absolutely. I've been asked about a follow-up book. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I want to be the first on your long list of people who are going to be contacting you. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you, Dreamcatchers, for tuning in and being a big part of why we do this. It is my hope that you are inspired in your own writer's journey, and that this season will inspire you to continue and finish. You can stream us on any of our 9 streaming platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and the #1 network in the continent, American Legacy Network. For more information on where to tune in to our broadcast or podcast, visit our website at www.writershavenshow.com. And you can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Author V. Helena. That's all for now. And until next time, catch fire on purpose.